it's too late to homestead. I have no background in gardening or taking care of animals. I don't have all the right tools. I live in an apartment. I live in a house, but I don't have a lot of property. I have no idea what homesteading even is. It's too late to homestead. Hi friends, it's Lynn here. If you're new, welcome. This is Bucket List Homestead, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Is it too late to homestead? No, it's never too late. We're proof of that. I have zero background in homesteading. I mean, zero. I grew up in a military family who luckily we didn't move around. My father's job in the military kept him in the same town pretty much from the time I started school until I graduated, got married, and moved away. But my mother certainly never gardened. She was a working mom. I had grandmothers who gardened and who canned, and I certainly helped my grandmother Tracy with her garden. My husband grew up on a farm, so he has a little bit more background than me, but it's been a long time. I shouldn't say a little bit, a lot more background than me, but it's been a long time since he grew up on that farm. And let's face it, he wasn't the adult on the farm, he was the kid. So I'm going to say what homesteading means to me is you're a little bit more self-sufficient. You're not necessarily relying on grocery stores to feed your family. I grow a very large vegetable garden. We have apple trees planted. We have elderberry bushes planted. We have blueberry bushes planted. We have a strawberry patch. I have an herb garden. I plant everything my family likes to eat, because there's no sense planting something you don't like to eat. And I try and plant enough so I can preserve it however way I choose, whether that's canning, pressure canning, freezing, dehydrating, freeze drying, however I'm going to use it, that I try and grow enough for the whole year. Now, homesteading is also, to me, cooking from scratch. 95% of our meals I cook from scratch. I bake from scratch. I buy in bulk. So, one, I don't have to make as many trips out, and it's cheaper. Homesteading to me also is having some animals. Now for us, it's chickens. Whoops, sorry. I'm outside and it's a little bit uneven here. That's having chickens. Right now we have 4 chickens who we have for their eggs. They are not meat chickens. That is something we hope to get into down the road. We are getting 4 more chickens in the next few weeks for more eggs. So we'll have 8 total. I wish we had the ability to raise a cow for beef and a pig for pork and to have a dairy cow for milk, because let's face it, our son goes through a ton of milk and it would be nice to just be able to go out and get some. We're not in the position for that. So I outsourced our beef and our pork to local farmers who literally are 5-minute drive from us, and I'm able to buy large quantities to freeze to feed my family. It's better quality, it's cheaper in the long run, and I am supporting our neighbors. So homesteading might mean a little bit different to other people, but that's what it means to me. It also means a slower pace in life. Yes, we could have had a much bigger home and lived in a subdivision. But at what cost to us? I do not have the stress of go, 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 go. We're still a busy family because we still have one child who's still in high school who is very involved in sports. So he has some practices after school and different meets and things, but that's okay. I don't mind that kind of busy. And my husband is retired from the full-time military, but he now works part-time as a reserve. So our lives have slowed down greatly in the last few years, and I love it. We are not hugely social people, and we are not big crowd type people. So homesteading lifestyle fits us very much so. Now, there are some sacrifices. We necessarily can't go on vacation unless I make sure I have someone who can, if it's in the summer, not only garden my look after our chickens. Sorry, I have an itch. Look after our chickens, but look after my garden for me if we don't get rain. Luckily, we do have someone, so it does work out, but we don't go on vacation a lot or at all. So as I said before, I have zero background in homesteading. And I mentioned we were a military family. I always had small vegetable garden in wherever we were when we lived in military housing. Certainly, I could never grow enough to feed our family for the whole year, but I could grow enough to eat fresh through the summer and maybe can a few things. But for the most part, I relied on a lot of farmer markets for my canning. So I know a little bit about gardening. I'm not an expert by any means, and you're always learning. You never stop learning. And we decided we want this lifestyle because I was diagnosed with cancer the first time in 2012. And during one of my treatments, I decided I'm going to make a bucket list, and not for things I want to do before something happens, but things we want to do after I'm well and I've beaten cancer. At the very top of that list, we wanted a house out in the country with some land. We knew we were probably going to be unrealistic to get 25, 50, 100 acres, but at least enough property. Our children were still small, that they could still play outside. I could have my dream of a big garden. I could have my dream of chickens. These were all on the bucket list. I wanted to grow apple trees. I wanted to grow blueberries and strawberry patch, things like that. These were what were on our bucket list. And it took us a little while to find, but we eventually found this place. And it came with 3 acres. It also came with a couple apple trees already growing. So that was kind of a bonus. And it was perfect for us. So that was 8 years ago. And I think one of the things I've learned most from homesteading is you can't do everything at once. Unless you have a lot of money. Like you have a lot of money and an army of people to help you, you cannot do everything at once. This was hard for me to finally, realize, because I'm the type of person who, okay, we have this, and this to do. Let's get it all done so it's over with, and then we can start enjoying whatever we're doing, and it's all done, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. I had to learn I couldn't do that with homesteading. So every year we have added a little bit. The first year the garden wasn't very big for a couple of reasons. One, we got here in June. So, I still had a little one, but I also got diagnosed with cancer for the second time. So couldn't do a lot. I relied on a lot of farmer markets still that year. The second year we planted a little bit bigger garden. Third year we planted an even bigger vegetable garden, and I added the strawberry patch and the herb garden that year. The following year we did blueberry bushes. And then the following year, we did the elderberry bushes. And then, I think it was last year, my husband said, yes, it was last year, he surprised me for Mother's Day. He didn't surprise me. He got me for Mother's Day 4 dwarf apple trees, so we planted them. This year, we're hoping to add a couple of pear trees, and obviously we're adding more chickens, and we're enlarging the garden even more. So, do I think homestead's a good thing? Absolutely. For us, every year that goes by, it just emphasizes it was the right decision for us. Something about being out in nature as often as I can get, it feeds something in my soul. It's my happy place. I come out to my garden even in the mornings, have a cup of tea, and all is right with the world. So, is it too late to homestead? No. Is it gonna be a little bit maybe more difficult right now because of the current times we're in? Possibly, but it doesn't mean you can't start. Even if you're not in the position to get a home with property right now and have a garden, wherever you are, there are things you can start learning now that will help you when you are ready to make that step. If you live in an apartment and you have a balcony, there are things that you can start learning. You can grow tomatoes in pots. Tomatoes grow great in pots. I did it a lot in military housing, and I'm actually going to do it this year. So yes, tomatoes grow great in pots. If you do have, or in your town, a lot of places have community gardens where you can go and you volunteer and you get a lot of help from other people who've been doing this. That's one thing you're going to find about the homesteading community. It's a wonderful community. It can be lonely, this lifestyle, because, a lot of people tend to think we're crazy. And being a military family, we've never been close to family. So we're kind of used to the loneliness. But because of this homesteading community, I've met some wonderful friends through the YouTube homestead community that have made me realize that we're not crazy. And there are people who enjoy this lifestyle as much as we do. And I'll actually link their channels down below. Annie from Back to Basics, Remy from Rem's Family Farm, and Darren from Thor's Haven Farm have already done Is It Too Late videos for homesteading, and they've got even better advice than mine. So I encourage you to check them out. And they've become friends. And a couple of them I talk to almost on a daily through social media. So yes, you can find community gardens. If you're already in a property, but it's not really big. If you can't grow out, grow up. Grow vertically. Lots of things like to grow up. Cucumbers can grow up. You can trellis tomato plants. You can trellis peas, beans. There's so many things that you can, grow up if you can't grow out. Yeah, so I don't think it's ever too late. It's only too late when you are no longer here on this earth. That is the only time when it's too late. My husband and I have only been actively homesteading 8 years. He's the big 5-0 this year, and I'm in my late 40s. So it's never too late. And we're not done. Every year we are hoping to add a few more things. We're still crossing our fingers for the bees. We're a little iffy on doing the beehives. We were gonna, but anyway. So I encourage you, if you have been thinking about homesteading, pull the trigger and do it. Now, back to where I said I didn't have any background. How did I learn what I did learn? Research. I read everything I could find on homesteading. I have quite a few books, but I also watched a lot of YouTube videos. Instead of watching TV or movies, I would watch YouTube. There's so much information out there that can help you. And if you reach out to people and ask some questions, this community is wonderful and they will help you. They will answer your questions. And if they can't answer, they will direct you to someone who can. So don't be shy in reaching out to people in this community. You're going to find they're fabulous. So is homesteading hard work? Oh, yes. It's very, very hard work. But I have to tell you, the satisfaction of taking a little seed, planting it, and then a few months picking that pepper or that tomato or cucumber or cantaloupe or watermelon or pumpkins, whatever it may be, and feeding your family. Those of you who do it know what an insane feeling that is. And you feel so accomplished. And the tired you get is a different kind of tired. It is a tired that you get from being self-sufficient. It's a tired that you get from self-sustainment. It is a tired that you get from just pure pride in knowing that I grew this, I did this, I raised that, whatever it may be. So yes, it's hard work. Anything that's hard work, you appreciate it that much more, right? So to sum up all this, is homesteading worth it? Yes. Is it too late to homestead? Nope, it's not. It's never too late to homestead.